Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, welcome back to the Friday at 4. How are you?
All right, I'm doing well, Chuck. Thanks. And how are you doing this week?
Yeah, yeah, wonderful, wonderful week.
Good.
Um, I think everything that's happened over the past couple of months leading up to today
Hmm.
leads us into this topic for the topic of discussion for the Friday for today.
Hmm.
So I want to jump right in so I can give us ample amount of time to talk about it because we may have a
Sure.
lot to say about this one.
Could be. We'll see.
Yeah, you know. So the
Hmm.
topic today is so who should we listen to when things are important, when life hits us and we want to find answers for things and whatever hits us at that moment, who should we listen to? Who should we choose to listen to? And how wisely should we choose to listen to these people or whatever we choose to listen to help us and guide us, right? What do you think? It's a pretty great topic, isn't it?
It is a great topic, and it's a wide open topic, which is typical of what we do here, right?
Typical of the podcast,
Yeah,
right?
really.
It really is.
So, can take this any number of ways, and as the saying goes, how to eat an elephant a bite at a time. So let's
Yeah.
take this a bite at a time.
Let's slice and dice it.
Slice and dice.
Slice and dice.
So, when we're really young, most of the time, we're going to listen to a parent, a mother, a father, both, one or the other. And that's great until you go off to kindergarten. And I know when my kids were young, very young, you teach them as much as you can, the values and things. And, listen to me, I've been there, done that without saying it that way, but I've been
Right.
there, done that. And this is the way you should handle these situations. And then comes kindergarten and they go off. And as a parent, you sit there and pray, if you pray, if not, you hope real strong that everything that you've taught them, they maintain and retain because peer pressure is very strong.
Yeah.
So as they start to get older through grade school, middle school, high school, college, they're going to start listening to other people. And that's okay because there's multiple views on everything every day. But the question then becomes what we're talking about today is who do you listen to? Because there are people everywhere who have their own opinions, and it may be a great opinion for them, but if they don't know you and they try to force that opinion on you, will it be the best for you? Maybe yes, maybe no. Again, I can't tell, right? But I always say when you're going to look to do something, you could listen to somebody. You should absolutely research yourself, especially the important decisions.
Yeah.
So let's go off one tangent here, because there
Slight
are a
tangent to the
couple.
left.
There are a couple, but let's go off one tangent that says, and I've seen this happen before in the financial world. Because again, that's my specialty, and we're going to toss it back to you in a few minutes for what you do in your business, which I definitely want you to talk about a little bit, let the audience know what you do. But in the financial world, there are plenty of people out there who, and I don't want to use people's names because I don't want to cause any issues, but
Sure.
these people are out all over the internet spewing advice of what you should do. And I'm not saying they're not smart, and I'm not saying they don't have experience. But anybody who gives advice, the same advice to the world, is usually doing a disservice because there is no one answer for everybody because
Yeah, true.
everybody's different.
Yeah.
Some people may say, you should save for retirement. Other people say don't. Some people say put money in a bank. Other people say don't. Some people use the stock market. Other people say don't. There is no one right answer. So I go
So
back to
true.
what I said a minute ago. Take everything with a grain of salt. And there's a statement that I may have used this before, but I'm going to say it again now. Trust, but verify. So if somebody says to you, go in the market, check the market for yourself. Take a particular company stock, check out the company. Trust that they're okay, but verify before you put money in, before you, somebody says, go to a specific college because it's great. Great for who?
Hmm?
I went to college and it took me 6 years to get a 4 year degree. I'm not proud of that, but that was the route that I took.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot in there. I learned what I wanted, what I didn't want, what I liked, what I didn't like. I took the circular route, but I think I'm better for it. Yes, I lost 2 extra years. Okay, but I think I'm a better person for it. So always think about where it's coming from. That advice
I
is
want to
coming.
correct you real fast that you didn't
Okay.
lose 2 years. You gained 2 years of wisdom just because it
Correct.
took you two
Correct.
more years to get that degree.
You are
Pat
correct.
yourself on the back to say, job well done,
Yeah.
you did it.
Yeah,
You
you are
know,
correct. Thank you.
yeah,
You're right. I did not say that the right. You are correct. It was a
absolutely. Yeah.
valuable experience that helped
Yeah,
me, and it did help me down the road. So you are correct. Thank you for saying that.
absolutely.
Um, but who do you listen to? Um, some people say go to work for this company. Why? It may have worked for them. It may not be for you. My degree is in accounting. My 4 year degree is in accounting. And I decided in my senior year, which was my 6th year, that I didn't like accounting. True story. I didn't like accounting.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of things happen in there. Number one is my parents looked at me and said to me, you're already 22. You cannot be a lifelong student. So get your degree. Okay. That's kind of
You're
pretty
not doing
much
this
blunt.
forever, buddy.
Get your degree. Okay. So I got my degree. But I also, because I listened to the wrong people, I did not believe that accounting was for me
Mm,
because the people I listened to said to me, it's the same boring stuff day after day, week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter. And you don't want to be doing that. And that's what I was led to believe by enough people. And I believed it without verifying it. And I never went into accounting. Now, I will tell you, it was a great business background, but I also found out after I was already on a different career trajectory that what everybody had told me was wrong.
yeah.
So while, yes, there is some similarities to what you do day, week, month, year, there's still so much out there that's a much bigger picture that would have made it much more interesting and informative and challenging and all those good things. But I never experienced that because in that case, I listened to the wrong people and did not verify. That's why I said trust, but verify. Now that's on the financial side, and there's a whole bunch of things in there. And I could talk for a long time, which I'm not going to because we'll be long past this episode. But so let me ask, that I alluded to earlier, from your experience in your business, and I know you've had a couple of different types, what did you learn either from other people that helped you, other people that necessarily didn't help you, what you may have learned on your own? Give us a little bit so people can also better understand what you do, maybe how you can help them.
Yeah. So I want to start with my explanation first with a little offbeat, little sidetrack here.
Mhm.
I listened to somebody about something personal that you and I talked about, and we'll talk about that off the show
Mhm.
later, a little more in detail. But I listened to an accountant who completely steered me in the wrong direction, and it
Mhm.
could have been really disastrous for me. But I did not trust and I verified. And the other accountant said, oh, no, 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 no. We do it this way. And I said, makes sense. So I'm glad I went that route. Things are clearing up for me. The sky is no longer cloudy and dark. There's the sun peeking through the clouds. And I see light at the end of my tunnel with this. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing because, again, like you said, trust and verify. I trusted, but I didn't verify if there was a correct way to go. But then as I moved to another accountant, things are looking really, really good.
Good.
And yeah, so getting that out of the way, because that's one of the main reasons why I want to talk about this topic today, because who do you talk to, right? And where do you get your information from? Really, it says a lot because in my prior business where I was just doing mystery shopping, it's hard for people to trust somebody with that topic of mystery shopping because I'm going in undercover and I'm giving you data of what's happening with your employees and your business. Can you really trust that, right? You have to verify it. And that's two important things, right? You trust and verify that data that I'm giving you. And out of thousands of reports I've done, I've had one report where the business owner didn't trust me and said, I don't think that's accurate. And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, because at this time, this didn't happen. So that report could not have happened. It's false. So I said, no problem. Completely did away with it. Had a new person go in, reshop the location, made it all better, made it right. So that wasn't my fault. That wasn't, something I did. It's on the owner to trust and verify as well.
Gotcha.
What's happening. But that's just a little sample of what could have happened, in your business.
Right.
If you don't trust and verify what's happening,
Correct.
Fast forward today in this new world, this new business, what I'm doing, I'm working on, again, my Star Performance Index report. I'm really pushing forward with this because this has a lot of value. There is no need to trust and verify because the data is there. And I'm trying to really make this a real simple report so you as a business owner can see this data at a glance. Very pretty, nice picture. So you just go, boom, look at that. I see it. I understand it. Two parts to it, right? One part is what I'm showing you from your general top 10 of your competitors in your area. And the other part is with your reviews, going in depth with your reviews. And I'll explain this to you after the show as well. It really puts a huge spotlight on you and your business, even yours, Steve. I could put this in for yours and really show you where you stand in the grand scheme of things with your competitors in your area. And I think, again, who do you talk to, right? Because I want business owners to talk to me. I want business owners to reach out to me and let's, talk about how this can really help your business because it is 100% verified. That's a good thing about it. There is no non-trust here because it is actual data that I aggregate and put together. And there is no, well, that's not true. No, it is true. But on the flip side of that, that's why I'm showing you the data because I'm showing you that there is no one way to have your business in a spotlight because you need to know the truth about what's happening. And that's what I do. I show you the truth behind that data and I help you to say, look, if that's not accurate, that's not true. If your business is better than that, let me help you get your business to where it needs to be. So I'm showing you the light, showing you the data, but now let's make it better than what you're showing that it is or is not.
There's a huge amount of value in data. We know this. It's not, I think, because I think could go any number of ways. But when you have actual data, then it's up to the business owner. And if they really care about what's going on short term and long term, yes, they will work with you and change for the business because it's the business, it's the staff, it's the customers, it's everybody.
Keyword care, right? Because I come across that a lot to where a lot of business owners will shy away from me because they want to stick their head in the sand, which is a phrase I use often.
Yeah.
and they don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know what's really happening.
Correct.
So that's
Correct.
why Chasing the Stars and Tasted and Rated Show is there to
Hmm.
give consumers and the business owner a peek at what I find when I go.
Hmm.
If they don't hire me, I'm still going to do it. You
Right.
know, they'll still be there, you know. But I really think that a lot of business owners should really listen to what I have, check out what I do, and let me come to your business and show you what I have because it's so valuable. It really is.
It's valuable and it's unique. So
Very unique.
that's why. So that's good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's another group of people, and this could get a little touchy, and I apologize, and I'm not really looking to step on anybody's toes. But
I like how always preface things like that. Like Steve's always like, let me do a
I'm
caution
really
to the wind
not.
here. But here I go,
I
you
mean,
know.
my goal here is not to make enemies. The goal here, and
Right.
we say that we haven't said this in a little bit, but we used to say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. We're just two guys giving you our opinions. We're not sponsored by anyone. We're not paid by anyone. So what we're telling you is our experience, which is the truth.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is when I went to college, there are, and I had the two different types of professors. One type is the person who built their career on textbooks. The other type is the person who built their career on an outside career and is now teaching. So they
Real
have the
world.
experience.
Yeah, real
So
world,
when
right?
you have a person who is textbook smart only, well, for the most part,
Mhm.
they're going to give you the textbook response. But we know the world is changing and
Rapidly,
rapidly. And
rapidly.
the professor who has the real world experience, to me, can add much more value. Now, when I was in college, I had a professor, and I was in my master's program. And my wife and we took the same classes, we took the same degree, the same everything. And one of our professors, I'm in New York City, and one of our professors worked in the city in a marketing company. And he had been there for quite a few years. And he had real world experience, good
Mhm.
and bad, of what's going on, dealing with clients that are happy, that are not, you know, troubleshooting, all kinds of stuff that goes on. And when he would come in, yes, you had a book to read, a textbook that you had to buy, but each chapter in that book was a different class. So there were, I don't know, I think it was 36 classes in outreach, and you had like 36 hours, whatever it was. Excuse me. So every week was a different chapter. But he would take that chapter and then bring in a real world experience to explain the chapter. So it's not, so the question is, who do you listen to? Here's somebody who has textbook and real. Now you're getting both sides. Now, not every chapter, every story will apply to everyone, nor can you relate to everyone. But when you know it's real world stuff, you learn. And you can also, and again, talking me, this is me. I learned the good, the bad, and the ugly of, do I want to do this thing for a living or that thing for a living? Do I
Right.
want to work with this type of person or that type of person? From a credibility perspective, again, I'm not talking about diversity and that stuff. To me, everybody's equal. But from
Mhm.
a credibility perspective, do you work with someone who has a great reputation or someone who's not so great on a reputation? That's what I'm talking about, one person versus another. But
Sure.
when you have the stories to go behind it, it opened it again to me, it opened my eyes of what type of person do I want to work with
Right.
and work for? Two
Yeah.
different things.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
the
So what years were you in college?
From 1974 through 1980.
So now imagine we're talking 50 years later. how things have changed from what you've learned to
Yeah.
now. So think about the program you learned
Yeah.
in college, how that's changed 50 years now, you know? It's amazing.
Yeah. By the way, thank you for making me older.
You're
50
very
years.
welcome.
No, I'm busting, but yeah, actually, we're in 26. Actually, to make myself older, 2 years ago would have been my 50th high school graduation.
Whew.
So yeah, I'm an old fart. But anyway,
Hey, I'm
but
into what 39 years, so yeah, whew,
but I gotta tell you though, yes, I may be older, but the experiences that I have gotten, good and bad, the
yeah,
experiences I have gotten, what done myself, what I've seen other people do, again, what I've learned, good and bad, are invaluable.
yeah. The
Invaluable.
changes you see over 50 years really just
Yeah,
makes it worth it, you know?
it is. It
Yeah,
is. Um, and it's just amazing, obviously technology changed and we know all that stuff, but just from a life experience of what I've done, um, industry wise, different, I've traveled to different countries for business. You
yeah,
can't replace that stuff. You can't read that stuff in a textbook.
yeah,
So it's who do you
yep,
trust? Who do you listen to? Excuse me. That's from going and doing and seeing firsthand.
yeah,
And
yeah,
different cultures have different values. And that's good because now you get to understand how different people view different things. And that's a
yeah,
good because, the US is great, but there's a whole other world, literally a whole other world out there that can give you a whole different view.
yep,
And as much as we have here, most of the other world, yeah, listen to me, most of the world doesn't have what we have. They don't.
yeah,
So if we really want to get a good idea of what we have here, and I'm not saying we have the best of the worlds because we don't, but if you now travel to other countries, you realize what we have here is pretty darn good. It really is. Um,
yeah. Well, one of the things I was going to mention, since your business is very strict, you follow a lot of rules and guidelines, you
mhm,
know, and it's really tricky for you to answer that question to who you listen to because
mhm,
there are people that you have to listen to because that's just your industry.
right.
You know, I'm kind of open with mine because, I have a lot of consumers that bark out reviews. I got a bunch of business owners who bark at consumers about reviews. So I
Yep,
got
yep,
both sides of it. But it's lockstep for you. It's like, oh no, there is no straying away from that line because the people you have to listen to and follow it's how it is. You have a structure, right?
right. In the financial world, similar to the medical world, there are very strict rules and guidelines that you must follow for the benefit not only of the consumer, but for the agent themselves. And for years they've had extra laws for seniors because they may not have the full understanding, they may not have full capacity to make a decision. And I'm all in favor of those extra laws because, yes, I'm in that position at this point right now. But even before I was this old to be in this position, I'm a firm believer people who are uninformed, and we can get into the whole reason why I think it's done on purpose, but people who are uninformed don't have the understanding to truly see their options. So if they know they have two options, they're going to take one of the two. But what if there were another three they were never told about,
Yeah,
which could improve their life health wise, financially, and everything else? That's why I believe the rules are there.
yeah.
But to your point, what you're doing with different businesses, you don't necessarily have those rules because you're not putting somebody's health at risk. You're not putting somebody's financials at risk, but you're helping their business, which could help others down the road.
I would love, and working on this report over the past couple of weeks, has led me to say this. I am hoping and looking forward to becoming an industry standard for businesses
Mm,
beyond what Google's doing,
mm,
because what I've discovered, I think, has tons of value and it will open your eyes. When I share it
mm,
with you, you're going to be like, wow, I never thought of that, because people don't think about, or shall I say, people don't think outside the box when it comes to people barking up the wrong tree about a
mm,
business.
mhm,
Somebody goes in, I've said this before, somebody goes in, their family of three, they go in, the husband, wife, and the kid. Husband gets home from work, wife is mad because the kid didn't behave all day. She's angry. They go out to the restaurant. They have long wait time. They sit down. The server messed up. Now they think they had a really awful time to get a 1-star review because, well, my experience sucked. I'm already mad. But maybe it could have been a 3 or 4 star, not a 1 star.
mhm.
But
Right.
now this business suffered because, well, that's what they felt, you
Right.
know? And I want to remove that feeling. I want to remove that possibility of not being the truth behind these reviews, because I think a 3.2 business should have the same chance as a 4.9,
Hmm.
because I've walked into a 3.2 business and had a 4 or 5 star experience.
Mm,
So who are people to judge off of just Google to
right.
say that they're the industry standard for how you should treat a business, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And I
Yep.
want to break that code, because I hate to see businesses suffer all because of a review company who thinks they know everything, or they're the
Mhm.
standard, right? I
Correct.
want to become that standard to say, I got you. You might be a 3.2, but we can get you to a 4.7, 4.8. Might take some time, but we can get you there. And
Mm.
this is how you'll get it. And that
That's
and that's a struggle, right? And that's something I've uncovered. One of my little keys here, to say I've uncovered something that I
mm,
think has
yep.
tons of value, and I can't wait to share it with you. And I got somebody working on it to try to make it prettier,
Mm,
because that's something haven't figured out yet. I'm pretty good at Excel, but this I can't figure out this, because it's such a complex formula. It's not giving me what I want. So I got to find people who are really good at that to give me what I want with this. And that's where I'm at. I want to be an industry standard for this, to say, I've unlocked this code for this. Now let's make it a standard. And I'm hoping that this can become a thing.
It's to me, it's something the industry absolutely needs. So yeah, keep going with it.
And
Yeah,
it,
good
and the thing
stuff.
is, they don't realize it yet. I think that's the thing, is that, a lot of business owners, they're busy, they're scared, the economy's tough right now. They don't want to take on another bill because they don't feel
Right.
like, oh, I don't think I can handle that. But if I could save you $5,000 a month,
Mm,
man, what could you do with extra $5,000, right?
a lot,
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
Yeah, that
Yeah, it's a
5,000 could be
lot.
the difference of staying open or not. So yeah,
Yeah, each month. Think about that.
right,
Each
right.
month. I mean, 6 months, you're looking at $30,000, man.
Yeah,
That's no
a lot
chump
of money.
change. Yeah,
It's a lot of money to put back into a business because it's found. So put it back into the business, make it better for
yeah,
whatever that means to the business. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And he can really help you from having to rehire people and train people, because that takes a lot of time and money,
it does.
hiring and training, because, we're still going through that, revolving door. We got a lot of people still,
Mhm.
they'll work for a couple of days and quit. They'll work a couple of weeks and quit. They'll find another job. They don't like this business. They'll go somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's still a hot topic,
it is.
which, and I hate to bring it up again, which COVID created, and it did. The
Yeah.
COVID time created what we're going through, and we
Hmm.
have to get beyond that. And I
Mm.
think I've got the answers now, and the key to
Mm.
get us beyond what we're dealing with and to really help these businesses push forward, you know? Because again, that question, right, is who do you talk to, right? And who do you trust, you know? And a topic of this podcast today, who do you really go to?
And you can't always go to people that you know, which makes it a little dicey.
Yeah, right to that point, right? You can't walk out into your restaurant or the lobby of your business and say, "Oh, hey, Mr. Customer, how's your experience today?" "Oh, it's fine." But really, the person had a horrible time. But that's what they're going to tell
Right.
you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're not going to sit there and say, "Well, it really sucked." No, they're not going to tell you. They make, oh, it's okay. They're going to go and get on Google and be like, oh man. And then the owner had the nerve to come out to my table and ask me how things were. And that's how it starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I want to avoid.
Yeah. I mean, I know in my field, I've heard and experienced countless stories. People have money to invest. They don't know what to do. They go to their next door neighbor. They go to their
Oh,
Uncle Joe. No offense to Uncle Joe, right? Who have,
no offense, Uncle Joe.
but they go to somebody, but the person they go to may not have any experience, may not be licensed, so legally they really can't give advice. Now you trust Uncle Joe, you invest money, now you lose money. Now you go knocking on Uncle Joe's door, and oh, by the way, Uncle Joe left town with no forwarding address because he messed you up. But I mean, I use that as a little tongue in cheek, but who do you go to? And if you go to somebody can you really trust without experience? If you go to somebody you don't know them. So can you trust them? So you
Yeah,
really put in a very tough position.
yeah,
That's why it's the trust, but verify.
yep,
Do the research on them. How long they've been in business? Are they licensed? Have they taken the continuing education classes? What qualifies them to take your money? And the one thing that I've come across lately, and only maybe because I'm now into it and I'm more aware of it,
mhm,
is never have, at least on the financial side, never only have one person who handles all your money.
yeah,
Never. Because now you're following their advice. What if their advice isn't your advice? What if their advice is not what you want to do, but you're following it?
yeah,
So if you have multiple people that you have a piece within each person, now your money is diversified. Maybe you're protected a little. This one's more risky. This one's less risky. Again, this is short term, long term, and all those things that come with it. But
yeah,
always have multiple people holding your money.
yeah,
Protect yourself. That's why if you think about doctors,
yeah,
you still have your GPs, your general practitioners, but then you have all the specialists. You're not going to go to somebody who works on your teeth to do heart surgery.
yep.
Hopefully you won't anyway. Okay, but
Yeah. And to close this section out before we end up here, my question is to you and to the audience, why do we feel that Google has to be the answer to reviews? Why? Right?
because that is what we're told over and over and over.
Yeah. Who said they're the industry standard, right? Why are they the industry standard? And I ask this to our audience who listens to this. Please leave me a comment, reach out to me. Why do you feel that you have to follow and listen to Google about their reviews? That's what I want to know,
Have you
you know?
ever heard the comment, the 800-pound gorilla?
Yeah.
Google is the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
Everybody knows them. They're out there the most,
Yep.
just like everybody goes Microsoft. Doesn't mean they're the only, well, not everybody, because Apple obviously, but it's the big 800-pound gorilla
Yeah.
because they market so much and they force you to think one way only.
Yeah.
That's why.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
516-727-2294. Reach out to Steve, man. Great information. I know you have tons of knowledge on your financial services. Reach out.
Yeah. And then Chuck, 410-935-6132, helping businesses understand where they are and how to become better. Reach out to him. World of experience, and he'll help you.
Yeah. Very true. With two great guys here that were just trying to help you out, you
Yep.
know? Yeah.
Yep.
Steve, what another
All
great
right.
topic. We could talk
Yeah,
for hours on this topic,
we
as
could.
always. We could go on and
That's
on,
okay.
as we always do, right? They're always great topics.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back on again and
Oh, of course.
and being here with me. I really love this podcast.
Hmm.
I hope at least one person watches and listens and gets some kind of, you know, they learn something from it from us. I think it goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
yeah,
give us your comments back. We'd love to hear what you're thinking. Again, as Chuck, you always say every week, if you want to, be a guest, just be a guest. Let us know. More than welcome.
QACteam.com and click on the
Yeah.
calendar link and sign up,
Yep.
register, come on in.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if it's not available for you to register, reach out to me, email me. I'll hook you up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
come on the show.
All right.
Yeah.
Good
So
stuff.
Steve, another episode. Appreciate it. And Friday at 4 because
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
like somewhere. Absolutely.
You
Steve,
got it.
have a great rest of the day. What a
You
great
too.
Friday. What a great week it's been. Have a great weekend. And I hope it doesn't rain all weekend. I heard we're supposed to get some rain.
Yeah, we are. We are, unfortunately, but can't change the
Unfortunately.
weather.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
All
Steve, have a
right.
good one. We'll
You
talk
got it.
soon.
Thanks,
Take care,
Chuck.
everybody. See you, Steve.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.